All right, everybody, welcome back. We got more edge rusher videos to chomp through here. We've got quite a few, actually. We've got a packed schedule today, so stay tuned and hang on because the middle and lower portions of this draft are still filled with edge rushers. We're still on the second round here, and we've already done 4 videos. This is the 5th video. So we're going to start with Jack Sawyer, Ohio State. 23, pretty good size for an edge rusher. Very short arms though, and we will definitely loop back around on that. 4th percentile in arm length. Really, really tough to foresee a lot of future NFL success with that. Just leading off with that. Most of the big boards still have him as a second round pick though. Draft Network and ESPN have him in the 3rd. Aggregate has him in the middle 2nd. He's produced a lot over the last couple years. Over 100 tackles, 19 for loss, 15 and a half sacks, 9 passes batted down, and 5 forced fumbles, about 100 pressures. So he's putting up the numbers at Ohio State, but is he going to put up numbers in the pros? A little bit harder to tell. He is very strong. He is very stout. He's got a bull rush that he can use to beat tackles. He's got some power. He does have that kind of gradual but ultimately effective power game. He's excellent against the run. He's really good at holding up against the run. He's got a good bull rush, like I said. He's really good at making plays on second and third effort. He does not give up, has a lot of push to keep going. He knows how to use his hands well. His hand placement and hand usage is skillful. And he just generally has a good feel for playing football. He's got good instincts, I feel like. He just doesn't have speed or quickness, so you're not going to get you're not going to get a lot of first step quickness. He's not going to beat a lot of tackles to the edge. So you're not getting a lot of wins with speed. Tends to think tends things tend to happen gradually. Like when he tries to stack together pass rush moves, they all just kind of come out a little bit slowly and predictably. Doesn't really stack and shed, which makes sense because his arms are tiny. Can't stack and shed. No bend to get around the tight corner, so he's not going to bend underneath tackles. So no first step quickness and no bend, so speed rushing's kind of out of the picture here. I don't know. I just view him as a guy that's going to be, he was good in college. I don't necessarily believe this is going to translate that well to the pros. There are some things about him that are good, but I don't know if I see it coming together. I think he'll be like maybe an early down edge rusher, and that's about it. So I'm going to say early 3rd round on this one. Just couldn't quite get there with him. Next up, we have Princely Umanmielen. I probably butchered that, but Princely's a really cool name, so we can just call him Princely, and everybody's going to know. Ole Miss, I think he was a Gator the year before. 23 years old. He's lean. He's got good height, but he's got very little girth. 7th percentile. Pretty long arms, almost 34 inches. That'll get the job done all day. His testing numbers, the 40 was decent. The jumps were excellent. Very explosive. Change of direction stuff like the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle, not good. We got some second rounders. We got some third rounders in the big boards. Aggregate has him as a late-ish second round pick. Good production the last 2 years. Good production. We're talking about 75 tackles. Talking about 26 for loss, 17 and a half sacks, 100 total pressures. So he's constantly disrupting in the backfield. And he earned a really strong PFF grade in 2024. So doing something right at Ole Miss. The explosive quickness is there. Really hard to keep up with him when he's trying to get around the edge. Really hard to keep up with him as he's trying to get around you. That explosive first step is on you very fast. He's got some hand counters he can pull out as well. Got good hand counters to assist. Knows how to get low and win with leverage. Bends the knees, sinks at the hips, and wins reps with leverage. And he does have bend. So unlike Jack Sawyer, you can say Princely's going to be able to win as a speed rusher, getting the corner with his combination of quickness and bend. So that's great. But I don't know if this is going to cut it. If you're this tall and you're this weight, Like this combination doesn't strike me as a winning collection of skills. This strikes me as somebody that needs to put on weight, or well, I I don't know. I don't want to say move position, but I kind of feel like he's got to at least add some weight and maybe become more of a hand in the dirt type player. He's going to be a liability against the run until he does so. He doesn't have upper level speed either. He does have pretty good quickness and explosion, but the speed is not really there. He needs to continue to develop his hand usage. It's not bad, but he's got to continue to get better. He doesn't really have any kind of a bull rush, and he doesn't really have that many pass rush moves. He just kind of wins with his first step quickness and bend. He doesn't win with actual, like, strung together, coherent moves. So he's just a little too lightweight. I know the production's really good. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's got to make some real adjustments. I'm going to say middle third round. That's a little bit extreme, I know, but I just kind of feel like he's got too much to work on here. Braden Swinson is my next guy here, LSU. About average size, adequate. Well, you know, there is a difference between the size you need to be a 3-4 edge and a 4-3 edge. This guy, a little bit smaller, so you would definitely say he's the good right size for about a 3-4 outside linebacker. Decent arm length, 33 3/8 works. Hands average. Only did his 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Yeah, 20-yard shuttle, and they were both good. Not stellar, but good. Big boards, we got some seconds, we got some thirds here. Database puts him in the very early third when I last checked. So I think that's what we're basically looking at here. 93 tackles over the last 2 years, 20 for loss, 10.5 sacks. Almost all of them came last year. He had his breakout year with 8.5. 8 passes batted down, 4 forced fumbles, 82 pressures, but 60 of them came in 2024. So he really kind of exploded onto the map as a pass rusher in 2024, averaging close to 5 pressures a game. So really came along in that area. He's got strong punch power. He knows how to use his punch to disengage from blockers and beat them. He's got a good understanding of how to use his hands, knows how to position his hands in his trench engagements. He's got good reactive athleticism to pursue plays in open space, so he can chase down elusive quarterbacks and ball carriers. He's got great footwork when he's seeking out areas to attack along the line, and he's got good burst out of his stance. He does have some first step quickness. It's credible. Now, I do think that he needs to like widen his stance a little bit, because right now his stance is a little too narrow, which makes him off balance, and that allows him to kind of end up on the ground too often. He's still working on his pass rush moves, doesn't really have a lot he can bring to the table there. Not really a skilled pass rusher yet. I think he can get there though. I'm not saying anything negative about him in general, just right now. The bigger players are going to beat him up a little bit. The size can kind of swallow him up. And he doesn't have great lateral movement skills, so some of his reactive athleticism is lacking, even if it's mostly good. So I don't think he'll ever be a star. Definitely some issues here. But all around, I kind of like this one. He's got some elements of strength. He's got some elements of skill. He's got some elements of quickness. There's quite a bit going on here that I ended up liking with Swinson more than I maybe thought. I'd say early third rounder is about spot on. I think that's, yeah, the aggregate has him there. I think the aggregate has the right idea. So, yeah, I am early third round on Swinson. And, yeah, by the way, that welcomes us into the third round on the projections. Let's keep going with one more guy, Josiah Stewart. Josiah Stewart, Michigan. This was a guy that a lot of Seahawks fans were talking about before the season started and early in the season. I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about him now. Maybe it's because he's so small. 6'1", which is not necessarily a bad thing, but he's very short, very lean, sub 250. So he's definitely a 3-4 edge. He has to play in a 3-4. And he's got very short arms too. So 3-4 all day. 3-4 all day. Big boards, we've got like mostly third round. CBS has him in the fourth. Aggregate has him in the third. Produced pretty well over the last couple years. For Michigan, 8.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss last year. Never anything huge, but good consistent production over his entire career. Really good PFF grade. So what I can say about Stewart, he's very tenacious and ferocious in how he attacks offensive linemen. Very, very aggressive. I like it. I like that part of him. His first step quickness is pretty tough to deal with. He does have the ability to shoot out of his stance into the backfield. He uses his shortness as a weapon. He's able to use leverage to win. He's got a good understanding of how to drop into coverage. So if you ask him to do that stuff, he's shown that he can do it. He has that reactive athleticism and good awareness to be a zone coverage guy at least. And he can chase plays down with his speed. I don't know why this... There we go. He can chase plays down with his speed. He does have that open field speed to chase down the ball carrier. He's still just very small, though. Even for a stand-up player, this is pushing it, especially with the short arms. Doesn't have great reactive athleticism, so sometimes it feels like he's a little bit more of a straight-line weapon. I feel like when he has to grab someone who's elusive, it's a little bit harder. He's going to have to add some more pass rush moves to his repertoire. Right now, it's pretty dry, not enough. And I don't know if his violent game, the way he plays football violently, will translate totally to the pros where everyone's a little bit bigger, more athletic. I don't know if you can get away with being super violent as an edge rusher at 249. I just don't know. And the arm length is going to be a big problem. It prevents him from preventing linemen getting to his chest. It makes it harder for him to engage on his terms. It's just not good. So the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak on Stewart here. He's got some elements of a good speed rusher. I don't know. I look at the size and I go, how excited can I get about this? How is this really going to work? So I'm waiting until round 4. I'm a little bit cooled off on this one. I just don't think there's enough here. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below.